Now for these photos, I used Kodak Tri-X 400. It's an old school black and white film known for street photography and known for a lot of pushing when it comes to film. And to do this the right way for you guys, I really wanted to exemplify it. So for this one, I did a push of 2 stops. You can do as many stops as you want to, and I'll explain that in a second. But for this one, I shot the film at 1600 and it is rated as a 400 speed ISO film. Now with any push, there are 2 simple steps. The first is in the camera. The first thing you need to do is essentially set your ISO in your camera or in your light meter if you're using an external at whatever value it is that you're going to push to. So in my case, if I'm pushing to 1600 because I want that 2-stop push, then essentially what I'm going to do is fake out my camera and I'm going to say that there's 1600 ISO film in the camera instead of 400. And that's where we get the push and the second part in chemical development. And the reason why I chose Df96 Cinestill's monobath for this video is because it is super easy, super simple. But to push the film, we basically need to do 2 things. We can either heat the chemicals to 90 degrees or 95 degrees, depending on how long and how much we want to agitate. If we do 95, we're only doing 4 minutes and we're doing intermittent agitation. If we do the 90 degrees, we're going to do 6 minutes and it's going to be minimal agitation. All 3 of these agitation methods are listed right above the chart. As far as I'm concerned, you can really do either one, but the big thing here is to be consistent. Whichever one you choose, make sure you're doing the correct temperature and the correct agitation and don't mix the 2. Make sure that you keep them on track. Beyond that, you could really try either one. From what I understand, the more agitation you implement into it, the more grain you're going to get. So maybe you want to try that minimal agitation and that temperature. Or maybe you want more grain and maybe you want to do the higher temperature, more agitation, and it'll also save you a little bit of time. I would highly recommend just playing around with this. Definitely do a couple of different rolls, do them different ways. That way you can kind of see what it means to really chemically develop and really get different kind of push characteristics in your film. Now, just for clarity, I did choose to do the 6-minute method, which essentially is a 10-second agitation followed by 5 seconds every minute, and it's at 90 degrees. So for me, it was very easy and it's very just nonchalant. Really, all you're having to do is do that first 10 seconds and then wait a minute, do a flip about 3 times, and then wait another minute, and then you're just doing that for 6 minutes. Now, inevitably, the great thing about playing with black and white film is the latitude, giving you that ability to have a lot of mess up. So especially if you're beginning, don't be afraid to do this at home, because if you're afraid of not getting the timing right, if you're afraid of not getting the chemicals right or whatever, as long as you're generally close, you're going to come out with something. And honestly, some of those aspects are going to come through and they actually might benefit you, because especially if you like a textured photo, you're going to see contrast, you're going to see texture. And especially because it's black and white, you don't really have to worry about a color cast anyway. Those are really the things that you're going to notice the most, especially if you overdo it or underdo it. So don't be afraid. I think you'll enjoy the process overall anyway. And that is basically the entire process on how to do the push.
It's la push.
So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this helps you out. I hope that kind of this generally makes sense at least. I hope if you're a beginner that you really get into it. And if you have any questions, make sure to leave me a comment down below. I would love to answer it or help you out in any way that I can. Of course, while you're down there, don't forget to check out the socials and the links in the description. They're there as per usual. Make sure to hit that like button. It super helps out the channel and I appreciate it very, very much. But for now, peace out and I'll see you guys in the next one.